Thank you everyone for joining us again. This is part 2 of our blog series on must-have for aesthetic practice success. So I hope you got a lot of information from part 1, which was focusing on processes and procedures. If you weren't able to see that, please go to our blog on our website and check it out. It has a lot of valuable information. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Chuck Donaldson. I'm the principal consultant for Avanta 3 Consulting. And our consulting practice consists of a 3-tier program to get your business where it needs to be. The first tier being business planning and consulting, and what that consists of getting your business plan in place, whether it be starting your new business or adding to your business in a different way. The second tier is sales optimization, and that can be anywhere from getting a sales process in place to improving your conversion rates. And then the third tier of that is your business operations and compliance issues. And we have other blogs that detail all of that you can stay tuned in, and some of that will be in another series of this blog post with must-haves for aesthetic practice. But today what we're going to focus on is the importance of having a very professional and defined process for your consulting process that's out there for the consultant and what they do with the new patient coming in. So as an aesthetic practice, you should be spending money on marketing, bar none. Like you can't get away without spending money on marketing. And given that you have a fine-tuned marketing program, you understand that and you're bringing in a bunch of fine-tuned leads. And if you don't, that's okay. We actually have a series coming up on that and how to bring in good paying patients that are quality and worth your time to spend with the consultation. But for now, let's get over the consultation process and how you can turn those leads into recurring patients. So a proper consultation consists of superior customer service, bar none, when it comes down to it all. And we have to fully educate the patient on everything that they're going to expect. So giving a thorough aesthetic assessment, and this meaning to fully assess the customer's needs, and even if they don't think they need it, a lot of consumers will come in thinking they only need Botox in the frontalis, and we know as experts in the industry that they also might need their crow's feet and maybe some filler in their nasolabial. So if we don't do a full assessment and just listen to what they want, we're doing them a disservice. And I compare this in our industry to the medical field. You know, some people that are now in aesthetics have been in the medical field, and let's take a sick patient. I come in, I have a headache, a stomach ache, pains in other areas, and I just tell you, man, I have a bad headache. So you prescribe me with something for that headache. Well, I leave, maybe the headache's cured, but I have all these other aspects wrong with me that weren't addressed because there wasn't a full analysis and assessment done. That's pretty much the same thing, a little bit more extreme because we're dealing with illnesses versus aesthetic, but overall we're not doing our job and we're doing a disservice. So here are the main factors that contribute to a proper consultation. Number one, systems. That was the first part of this series of blog posts, was the importance of systems and procedures and tips on how to implement those. So if you'd like, please go to my webpage and you can see that and check it out. I covered a lot of importance to run through a successful practice and why that's necessary. So I'm not going to go too much into that. Second would be setting goals and accountability. This is so important. And this is one of the reasons why having systems in place is important, because you can't set goals and have accountability without having a system in place to gauge that and run the criteria on it. So the main reason it's important is because of that, and they allow you to set those goals, track them, and then have production conversations with whichever associate on your team is not meeting those expectations, or even rewarding those that are meeting those expectations. So in this process, every associate, whether it be the front desk for upsells, or your sales consultant for closing and conversion and customer service related issues, or your providers for recommending other treatments that are going to benefit them. There should be goals in place and they need to be set, and then we have to track those. And once you have the goals established, and the tracking in place, it's important to meet with every associate on a regular basis to review those so they know where they are, so you know where they're at, and there's that accountability. I would recommend doing reviews on a bi-weekly basis for the sales associates, maybe a monthly basis on providers and people that have less of the responsibility in the sales department. But regardless, you have to have those reviews, and doing it too frequently, let's say on a daily basis, is not a good judge of where they stand, because everyone can have a bad day. We know that. So taking a big chunk or a bigger chunk of qualitative data to define will give you a better review session with that associate. The next important factor in a must-have in the second point of the consultation practice is hiring the right fit. A compelling consultation it makes the difference of a customer that becomes a lifetime customer that provides a huge lifetime value to your company, to a significant difference with a customer that might purchase only one service and never come back, or maybe not even purchase at all. So there's a lot of competition. It sounds like an easy process. We all know in the industry that it's hard to get that client, because one, there's so much competition out there. There's objections from customers. It's a high cost for services that people think are a luxury item versus a necessity, or as I like to call these things, opportunities. These are opportunities for the consultant to explain why, not necessarily it's a necessity, but the patient needs that to help them get the goals that they're looking to achieve. So it's worth it to wait for the perfect candidate that is able to overcome and make these objections a reality, answer them as if they're questions. And I see way too many practices that just hire a salesperson because they have a sales background, and this is a unique industry. You need to have knowledge on not only the services in your practice, you have to have knowledge on services and other practices that you might not even utilize, because if you don't know that, I can guarantee that the patient or the customer that is coming in your doors has done research on every single thing that might be a similar treatment to what you have. And if you can't sell the benefit of your service over another one that might be similar, you're going to lose that customer. Not only lose them, but look as you're not educated. So in order to have a genuine conversation, I would recommend a consultation process being approximately an hour. And it's very important to have a medical professional come in, reassess the patient on their treatments that are being recommended by the sales consultant. It gives a little bit more sense of professionalism to that patient, and it also validifies and confirms that we're doing the right thing for that patient. The next step would be developing a consultant certification / training process. To be a good consultant, you must become well educated, just like I was saying, in all those areas. So we have to have a training program that gets that consultant up and running, because no matter how good they are, or what company they came from in the industry they are, or even a similar industry, they're going to still need some knowledge. So coming up with that certification or training program is very important, and it needs to be set so it's consistent, because you'll have a patient that comes in, they might not like that person, so they go to another location if you have another location, and if it's not consistent, it does not look professional. So getting to providing kind of what I mentioned earlier, a complete individualized treatment plan for each customer. This is so important, and you have to have a consultant that knows how to do this and partner with the medical professional to agree on what that is and how they're going to assess it and set it up. it creates a win-win situation for both parties, being you as the business owner and the company in general, and then to the patient. And what I mean by that is going back to what I said, if they come in and say, I just want Botox in my frontalis, and that's what the consultant sells them, doesn't try to do anything else, they're not happy because they have other areas of interest, and that's always going to be the practice's fault from a consumer's mindset because we didn't recommend it to them and they're just not happy overall. Now, if we do recommend that to them, then we have a happy patient that is going to come back for repeat services, tell everyone about how great of a service she had, and then for the company, it generates the revenue that you need to provide that premier customer service that you should be providing. Last of all, I can tell you this whole long list of information that can provide so much value, but it will do nothing for your practice if you can't close the sale. And so all of this is great, customer service is important, but closing the sale is the root of your revenue and creating that customer service and customer satisfaction on a long-term level. So do things to provide extra value, such as offering same-day service and having providers ready to answer all their questions and getting them excited to purchase that treatment that same day. You also need to let them know ahead of time before their consultation that if there's anybody else helping them make this decision, they need to bring them along so they can take advantage of these certain offers. Also use offers of special package discounts that they purchase today to get their full results that they need and to complete their aesthetic treatment plan that we've come up with them. And just be creative. That's the general thing. Be creative. Don't just offer 25% off to come in. Offer things that are creative and will set you apart. So that, in summary, is what I would expect out of a successful consultant and a practice to increase their conversion and average invoice ticket and overall increase profit. I'll go over later specific numbers and how generating patients that are interested turn into revenue and what those conversion rates look like. But for now, I hope you found this information useful, and stay tuned and I'll have more information for you. Thanks.